here with a Friday the 13th special Divine Feminine reading for the 13th of August on Venus Day 2021. And at the same time that we are doing a special reading, we're also going to be doing an unboxing because my Hoodoo Tarot came in just a few minutes ago. So instead of doing this reading at 13 hours British Standard Time, I have started this live at exactly 13 hours, 13 minutes. We're off to a good start already, okay? So as that clock turned, this is where the placements were at. Now, every time I give a daily reading, I tend to give it at the time of sundown, right? So all the energies leading up to then, that's what I report to you guys on. But at the time of this reading, 13:13, when this reading just dropped, right? The moon was in Chitra, Mercury was in Magha, and Venus was in Uttara Falguni. Now, with the moon, it was in Chitra in the Virgo side. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about that in a minute. With regards to Venus, that's in the Virgo side too. Now, I've also done Rahu and Black Moon Lilith, as both of them are also associated with the feminine. Black Moon Lilith at this point is in, well, true Lilith anyway, is in Rohini. And the same with Rahu, it is in Rohini. So, already we have very interesting developments happening here. With regards to the moon in Chitra now, which is, you know, the Virgo inside of Chitra. What we're looking at here is the ability to not be, to not be afraid to ask for what we want, because we know that ultimately what we want is based upon what is actually best for other people. So there's an egolessness to the way that Chitra does things. Now, it doesn't seem that way because a lot of Chitra ascendants or Chitra natives, they seem to be deliberately confrontational in terms of outraging people, in terms of trying to make people think about, in terms of trying to make people think about their pre-existing mindset, or their biased mindsets. So if you look at Claire Nartti's video on Chitra, she explains more about that. But for my mind, it's really about knowing what you want, asking for what you want, being more selective about the company you keep, about the information that you take in. So emotionally right now, all of us, not just men, not just women, all of us, we're being called to be more selective about the information that we receive. Be more selective about everything that we receive. Be more fussy. Chip away at our own understanding or of our own preconceptions about what life is. That's what it means to be refined. It's to take the purity of your soul and to refine your outer reality based on the purity of your soul. The soul is egoless, remember, and the soul is divine, right? So the way we are supposed to live our lives is supposed to be based on that divine self within us. Okay? So what the moon is saying, and the moon is the mother, right? What the moon is saying is understand that true beauty isn't what you think it is. It's not about a specific ideal. It's about what's in your heart. It's about who you truly are. And with Hasta in the D9 chart and the Navamsha, I did the Navamsha for this as well. With Hasta in the D9 chart and the Navamsha, when it comes to the moon, that's also in Virgo, but it's in Hasta. So what we have is a more elevated state of Hasta. We are already in touch with the daily mundanities of life. We are already noticing and alert and aware. We are already inspired because of that. So we have to take it one step further and kind of create something, you know, create a world around us that reflects the, you know, the internal beauty of our own souls. So that's what the mother says for us. Now, when it comes to Mercury, which is for me is the maiden, Mercury is in Maga in the Rashi, okay? In the Navamsha, which is a D9 chart, it's in Ardra, right? So Maga, it's weird because Maga is about being conservative, and Ardra is about basically shaking the table. It's about the opposite. It's about breaking down convention and breaking down tradition, and plus it's Gemini, so it's Mercury. It's a mercurial sign. So based on what we see here, what we see of Maga is that for our innocent femininity, our conservatism and our rebelliousness, they seem to be at odds, but they're not. It's just that Maga is sort of unhappily rebellious, whereas Ardra is angrily rebellious. How do I put this? Maga is the type of nakshatra that is rebellious without meaning to be, and Ardra deliberately goes out of its way to tear down structures. So having them together, it's almost as if we have to resolve in and of ourselves what we're actually trying to do. Our mindset right now is confused about what freedom looks like, and it's confused about what, you know, what power looks like, what those things look like to us. So we have to decide right here and now what we are connected to astrally, what we are connected to, because Maga is basically it's the nakshatra of forefathers, right? So we have to connect with our ancestry to decide exactly what connects with us, and yet at the same time we have to find a way of expressing it in a way that is unique to ourselves. So that is the true meaning of rebellion. The true meaning of rebellion is to fulfill our ancestral duties or our intergenerational duties in a way that is true to us, that will enable the world to evolve. That is what we are meant to be figuring out when Mercury is in Maga and Ardra like this, okay? So that's what we have to figure out for ourselves. What's actually best for the world around us? What is actually conducive to what we're trying to achieve for both ourselves and the world around us? And Maga and Ardra, like I said before, they might seem like they have very different ideas, but they don't. Neither of them are happy. Maga is depressed, Ardra is angry. They're both rebellious. They're both rebellious, sure, and Maga is not trying to be rebellious on purpose, whereas Ardra is rebellious on purpose. But the thing that connects them both is that they're both not happy. There's something inherently wrong with the system that, there's something inherently wrong with the system, and both Maga and Ardra know that. They just have very different ways of handling it. But that's the unifying factor within the maiden part of our divine feminine being. It's that need to sort of understand, okay, there's some things in the world that are not right. How are we going to handle this? How would our ancestors handle this, knowing that our ancestors could have been falling in line with the status quo too? So how would our ancestors handle this? But also, how do we handle it? Having, just coming into an awakening of who we are as individuals. How do we connect those two? So, so the maiden, Mercury, the maiden's rebellious. But she's a rebel with a cause. She just needs to figure out how best to engage that cause in a way that actually makes her happy. And now we come to Venus. Venus, which I call the crone planet, okay? Venus in the Rashi chart is in Uttara Falguni, the Virgoan part of it, and she in the Navamsha, she is in Capricornian Dhanishta, right? So what does this mean? This is basically about the power of divine femininity. It's the power of a woman. Now, sensual femininity, a lot of people think it's about luxury and, you know, and all the rest of it. You know, I'm talking about Rohini now, which I'm going to come to in a minute. A lot of people think that sensual femininity, or, you know, lush sensual femininity, is about having things, it's about receiving. No, what it's really about is emotional support, it's emotional comfort. I read in a book by Deepak Chopra that there was an experiment with two primate families. Two baby primates, sorry. One baby primate was given all the food that it needed, drink, but no affection. Then there was another animal primate that was given, you know, minimal food, minimal water, but lots and lots of affection. And it was proven that the baby primate that was, you know, that was given the most affection was actually thriving more. They were growing more. They were, you know, so that is essentially what life is about, let alone the signs. But when it comes to sensual femininity in particular, the understanding that our feelings and emotions are validated. We don't have to be right. You see, people, you know, us having our emotions validated, we mistake that as people thinking that we're right. No, that's not what it's about. It's about realizing our emotions, how those emotions affect us, and actually taking people seriously when they feel something and not disregarding them and not disregarding emotions, having respect for emotions and emotional expression. Because our emotions are our animal cells, and our animal cells, more than fear, they need coddling. A lot of coddling. But when it comes to the Venus in Uttara Falguni, now we're right at the opposite end of the spectrum. Now we're getting into divine consciousness of the feminine. So what does this entail? Well, we're told that this entails joy. But then again, that's just another offshoot of emotion. Joy is just emotion that's evolved. And when it comes to Virgo and Uttara Falguni, we find joy in knowing where we stand. You know, it's weird, because I would have thought that we would find joy in, you know, leisure or something like that. But no, it's about knowing where we stand. It's about knowing what is happening at every single stage. True joy is knowing that you don't have anything to worry about because you're prepared for eventualities. And with Venus in Uttara Falguni right now, when it comes to love or when it comes to wealth, we are not looking for a fairy tale. We don't need it. We don't need a fairy tale in terms of romance. We don't need a fairy tale in terms of, you know, in terms of wealth or anything like that. We don't need like big wealth or what have you. We just need to know where we stand. And with Venus in Uttara Falguni, if we have everything condensed into simple language, simple things that we can understand, and we are prepared for what's ahead, then it allows us to live the rest of our lives unbothered, joyful, happy. That's what it's all about. It's not about giving us what we want all the time. It's not about giving us what we desire all the time. It's not about us receiving what we want constantly. That's not what makes a woman happy. It's not what makes a feminine happy. That's not what makes anybody happy. What makes people happy is being prepared so that they don't have to worry about anything. That's why, you know, people say that a woman's place is in the home. I don't really believe that, but When you're talking about a traditional housewife and you come in with your dirty stuff all over the place, the reason she's miserable is because it's not because you walked in and you were dirty. She's miserable because you didn't think ahead. You didn't think ahead before you did something. So now she's miserable and she's got to fix it. When she's the one who has to think ahead all the time, it robs her from her joy when she's the only one doing it. When everybody else is doing it, though, it allows her to be free. It allows her to be happy. It allows her to just live her life. Now, this is in part where, this is with Capricornian Dhanishta now in the Navamsha. It's with Capricornian Dhanishta. What does that mean? Well, Venus in Capricornian Dhanishta. First of all, Venus is in an earth sign in both counts. So already, Venus is looking pretty stable here. Okay, the fiery energies of Venus are stabilized here. So with Dhanishta now, a lot of people say it's about wealth, it's about fame, because Dhanishta literally means most famous, right? So you're talking about the ones who stars shine the most, and and being pretty and glamorous and famous and all the rest of it. I think there's a lot more to Dhanishta than that, though, because what people don't seem to understand about fame is that in order to be famous, somebody has to choose you. You have to be chosen to be famous. A lot of people say that Leos are the celebrities of the zodiac, but if you really look at people who are the most famous, Magar gets a good amount of fame, but it's not on the same level as somebody like Dhanishta. Why? Because Magar has inherent power that comes from within. Leos have inherent power that come from within. Cappies are different. Aquarians are different. They're organized, they're ordered, they're logical, yeah. They do have a flamboyant image, but 9 times out of 10, they have already foreseen how people are going to react to them. So what seems like a very cool, easy, effortless glamour that Dhanishta has, what seems really effortless, is actually very carefully curated according to what people actually need or what people actually want to see. So Dhanishta is the chosen one. They're chosen to be famous because of their deep connection to other people. Mars is the planet. Remember, Dhanishta is a Mars planet. Dhanishta is a Mars dominant nakshatra, remember. So Mars in and of itself is a planet of martyrdom. It's a planet of giving. It's a planet of patient martyrdom. It doesn't matter how many people attack you. Everything that you do is for the greater good. You give of yourself to heal, even if it hurts you. Okay? You give of yourself to heal, even if it hurts you. So people with Mars dominant signs, and especially Dhanishta, there's hallmarks all over the place of somebody like that. Like Marilyn Monroe had Dhanishta in her chart, sex symbol, but there was more to her than just sex. With somebody like that with a high sex drive, sex is not just sex to them. Sex is healing. It's alchemy. It's a way for people to be liberated from their own, pretensions. Mars is not interested really in causing controversy. Contrary to what even Mars dominant people might think, they're not interested in causing controversy. The thing about Mars dominant people is that they're hyper sane. They're not interested in that fucking shit. They're not interested in trying to get a rise out of people. Maybe that's Mercury, but that's not Mars. Okay? So, where our love is concerned, sex becomes healing. We are willing to give of ourselves to the people that we love, and to the people, even if somebody loves us and we don't love them, we're willing to give to them. We're willing to heal them if they need it. Where we are right now, we are willing to give of ourselves to love. We're even willing to give of ourselves to wealth. If we know what we have to do in order to stay wealthy, Uttara Falguni in Virgo, being prepared, Dhanishta in Capricorn, giving of ourselves, preparing for what's ahead. If we have to do what we have to do, we are prepared to give ourselves to love and give ourselves to abundance so that we can get back what we need from them. And even if we don't get something back, we don't care, because we're willing to give of ourselves. So the most divine aspect of our femininity, when 1313 dropped, was this idea of, I am willing to give and to prepare for love and wealth to find me and to be healed in my life. So there's the healing of love, there's a healing of abundance, and there's our willingness to do whatever it takes to heal that aspect. Powerful stuff. So, got 2 more planets to go. So, well, it's an asteroid and a node, but okay. Yeah, we're already done with the Mother, Maiden and Crone, Moon, Mercury and Venus. And now we got to move on to Black Moon Lilith and Rahu, right? Now, I've been a bit cheeky here, because they don't have true Lilith in the Navamsha, but they do have true Lilith in the Rashi, which I got from astro.com. The sidereal, Lahiri, you know how it is. Okay, so so I'm working with the, if I had to be strict about it, the Black Moon Lilith, which is the mean Lilith, that's actually in Kritika right now in Taurus. But what I've decided to do is go with true Lilith, because, you know, that asteroid is what truly embodies Lilith's energies in the Rashi. So I'm going with true Lilith on this one. And for the Rahu, it's very straightforward. Rohini, okay? Now let's start with the Black Moon Lilith, true Lilith first, okay? So in the Rashi, we've got true Lilith in Rohini. And for the Navamsha, we have Black Moon Lilith in Revati. Okay? Very straightforward. About healing the wounded child. Rohini is that stage of life where we have oral fixations, right? So it's very, very young. But Revati is about nourishment. Nourishment of the newborn baby, which is Ashvini, right? So inherently there's this understanding that we have wounds to heal. The most darkest and dichotomous side of our femininity, Lilith, understands that in order for us to heal our sensual femininity, we have to heal our emotions. When our true Lilith or mean Lilith is in Rohini, we have an understanding of this already, but when we get Revati in the Navamsha like this, that's heightened. Okay? So really, sensuality takes center stage in terms of the more dichotomous side of our femininity. What we have to watch out for is misuse of the occult and misuse of sensual pleasures. This is what we have to be careful of with Lilith in Rohini and Revati. On the good side, it teaches us that when it comes to our sexuality and when it comes to sex, we are deeply connected with our spirituality too. The tantric knowledge has reached its peak in Revati, but in Rohini, we're getting to know our bodies and we're getting to know ourselves materially. So there's the best of both worlds there. It's like we come into the first flush of passion, you know, with Rohini, and then with Revati, we come into, we come into all this spiritual knowledge about our bodies and how sex works, and it's beautiful. Black Moon Lilith in these signs are actually incredibly beautiful here. And not even in terms of sex, but just in general, in terms of what we do with ourselves and what we do with our lives. The fact that Rohini and Revati are here, it means that connecting with our magic and connecting with our bodies is the greatest things that we can do for ourselves right now. But at the same time, there is a tendency towards excess. There is a tendency towards provoking people for the sake of doing it, because we're still testing boundaries. Rohini is still a child, and Revati is the wounded child that never healed. So when Black Moon Lilith and True Lilith are here, we tend to go into trying to provoke people unnecessarily without just cause. That's what we need to watch out for. In terms of our sexuality and in terms of our darker impulses, it can be used for good, because then it helps us realize, we're getting to know ourselves all over again, basically, but with having that added information about how spirit works and how the body works. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful, but it's energy that we have to be careful of. I don't think excess is a problem here, but what I do think is that saber rattling could be a problem here, because it's emotional. Rohini is an emotional nakshatra, and Revati is also emotional. There is a great capacity for fertility here. Revati is water, Rohini is earth. There is a great capacity for fertility and richness here. It's beautiful, but use it wisely. Okay? And yeah, if you're a little bit on the thick side, you might want to watch out too. I'm just saying, it's not just jealousy you have to watch out for. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. I mean, take that how you will. Okay? And then with Rahu, we've got Rohini in the Rashi and Bharani in the Navamsha. Okay, so Rohini and Bharani, now it takes on a different meaning. Because Rahu in Rohini, which is conjunct True Lilith, it basically tells us that we may be chasing after the divine sensuality of Rohini without necessarily thinking it through. This is why I told you with the Black Moon Lilith, we need to be careful, because we want to rush straight in to finding that sensual pleasure and finding that love and finding that emotional comfort. But what Ketu is an Anuradha now, okay? It's moved on from Jeshta, now it's in Anuradha. And what Anuradha, the Ketu Anuradha, is teaching us is that we actually need to find true love for ourselves. We need to know what that looks like, what that feels like, especially. Yeah? We need to know what true love feels like before we start to demand it. But with our Rohini and Black Moon Lilith tied like this, it makes us... How do I put this? Yeah, we need to be very, very careful when it comes to this. We need to be extremely careful not to let our need for sensual pleasures get ahead of us, because that's not really what we're looking for. Every single sign and every single nakshatra is looking for love. It's just they have different ways of doing it. And with Rohini, you need to figure out what connects with you emotionally before you run around trying to connect with anything physically. You need to hold your corner and not let that get out of control. When it comes to Rahu's impulses, Rahu is feminine. What people don't seem to understand with Rahu is that when it comes to Rahu, the North Node, when it comes to that, you have to let Rahu come to you. Rahu is yin, just like the full moon is yin. You can't be out here doing too much with yin, with yin placements. Just like with the full moon, you don't go around doing stuff actively. You don't go around doing stuff actively with Rahu, because the thing is, the solar eclipse is there. The sun's blocked. So you can't go around doing, you can't run around just being active towards that. That's a wrong move that people make. You have to go back to Ketu. Ketu is masculine, Ketu is yang, just like the full moon, just like the new moon is yang. That's where your activity needs to be. That's where your activity is wise and has grounding. When you use your Ketu influences, when you go back to your Ketu influences and you act on that, that's what brings out the Rahu impulses, because Rahu is feminine. Rahu is passive. It's waiting for you to go back to your Ketu. So, with regards to Rohini, you can't be out here looking for material pleasures thinking that they're going to heal you. That's not how it's going to work. You have to be prudent about these things. Now, when it comes to the Navamsha, Bharani, we've got Bharani in the Navamsha, right? And I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know how to feel about Bharani being here, because on the one hand, it's restrictive, right? So, in a sense, the restrictiveness of Bharani could actually temper Rohini's sort of need to explore everything, feel everything, touch everything, sense everything. Bharani can actually withhold it and say, well, there are certain rules that you have to follow first. There are certain things that you have to abide by first. There are strict codes of conduct that you have to maintain. Or there's a strict culture you have to abide by. So Bharani could kind of rein it in. Take those impulses of Rohini and refine it. But unlike Purva Ashada, which lends very well to Rohini, which is restrictive without being binding, Purva Ashada doesn't bind Rohini, but the danger of Bharani is that it could strangle Rohini's sense of beauty. And, with Bharani in the Navamsha, I'm going to have a look at Ketu in the Navamsha too, because I think it's in Sfati or Vishaka. But yeah, Bharani's impulses kind of constrict and withdraw. So let's look at the D9 chart. If you're joining me today, thank you for joining me. This reading has been a little bit shaky so far, I'm not going to lie. It's always shaky when I do these things, but let's see. So yeah, Bharani is incredibly restrictive, to the point where, it could be detrimental to your sensual side. If I'm not going to lie to you, it could be very, very detrimental. So you do have to sort of control Bharani's impulses as well, because Bharani in the Navamsha is in Rahu as well. And it's around the same time that we're striving for sensual pleasures that now we're getting caught up in having the very best of that, but we have a very immature understanding of what that looks like. So no, it's Vishaka. It's Vishaka in Ketu. So yeah, this is real interesting. So so in the Rashi, we have Rahu in Rohini and Ketu in Anuradha, and then for Bharani, we have for the Navamsha, we have Rahu in Bharani and Ketu in Libra and Vishaka. And it's interesting. It's so interesting because Anuradha is about true love, right? And Vishaka is about divine coupling, which means being able to play a role that fulfills the other world that you step into. It's like, how do I put this? It's like Legally Blonde in reverse. Because if you look at Reese Witherspoon's chart, she has Bharani Ketu and Vishaka Rahu. Think of that in reverse. It's like you start off being in a particular environment where you're probably the misfit of your society, and then you enter this new arena where, you know, there's a sense of togetherness, there's a strict sort of very, very feminine environment where there is the expectation of excellence, but that expectation of excellence has a really immature look to it, and it has like a really immature understanding of what beauty and refinement are. It's not refined yet because it's Aries. It's a child's understanding of what refinement is. So it's almost as if, in order to find that childlike sense of beauty and wonderment, what we have to do is actually find out what brings it out in us. What is, how individual are we in terms of the environment that we've come from, if you catch my drift? How individual are we? What are the ways in which we don't fit into our society? And what is it that we truly love? Because it's those things that will lead us to becoming, that will lead us to a sense of childlike beauty and childlike wonderment. And, it will be those things that will lead us towards that childlike sense of refinement. But it will be in a good way, because we actually channeled Anuradha and Vishaka. We channeled our uniqueness. We merged ourselves with somebody very different to us on the surface, but on the, that we're united within with. And then what we've done is we've also found true love in the midst of that. So that is actually what leads us to finding our joyful, sensual femininity and our protected, safe femininity as well, because that's what Bharani symbolizes. So really, it's like I've said before, it doesn't necessarily have to be romance. It can be friendships as well. But the point is to be unique in and of yourself, to be a unique person from your own background, and then find other people who are misfits of their background, come together and be united on mutual cause, and on top of that, be united on true love. It's deep, but once we do that, we can fulfill Rahu's need to be refined and to be feminine. I'm hoping I'm making sense, but that's just how I interpret the planets. So we've heard from the Mother, Maiden and Crone. We've heard from Lilith and Rahu. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unbox. We're going to unbox now. So let me just set this up here. Oh, hope you guys are enjoying the reading so far. So let's do this. Alright. So first of all, what I'm unboxing is the Hoodoo Tarot. The Hoodoo Tarot by Tayanna Lee McQuillar. this is what I got today. This landed like a few minutes just before the live. And this is what I'm going to be using today since we're on the Divine Feminine tip. Hold up. So, yeah, I've got the guidebook here. Look at this. I love it. Okay, so what she's done, what Ms. McQuillar has done is she separated the cards into different piles. Okay? So she's halved them. Yeah? So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take them out and shuffle. Hold on. I'll rip it open with my teeth. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I was interested in getting this because I'm part of a forum that talked about this particular deck, and I was wondering if I could use it because I didn't think there would be any, any ancestral significance with regards to me. But then my delivery came not at 1 o'clock, but at basically 13:13. So I knew from the time that the deck dropped just before, enabling me to do this reading just on time, it's probably a sign that these cards were meant for me and that this reading was meant to happen. I just hope that I did it justice. So, okay. Yeah, alright. So what I'm going to have to do is shuffle now. I warn you right now, I cannot shuffle worth a shit, bro, okay? Shuffle. I ask you now. Oh shit. 3 cards broke out, you see? We've got Miss Robinson. That's the Devil card. We've got the Big House. That's the Tower. And we have got the Grandchildren. That's Star, yeah. So those popped out. Let's see what else I can find here. Oh shit! Father Sims. 14. These cards are leaping out. I'm not controlling this. Father Sims. These cards are leaping out. It's not me. I swear it's not me. These cards are leaping just... How many cards? Keep getting intuition to give my usual 10 cards. Do the Celtic cross, you know. Alright, so let me just... So true love and finding our uniqueness. Playing a role within new environments, playing the right role leads to romance. And then true love leads to romance too. And people think true love and romance is the same, and it's not. It really isn't. Being prepared. Our grandmother tells us, be prepared. Our maiden tells us, rebel in a way that actually brings you joy. Our mother tells us, find the beauty in our souls and bring that out. Be prepared for every moment. Be alert to every detail. Be kind to yourselves. These cards are leaping out like you would not believe. Good God. These cards, they wanted to speak. They have been wanting. You know what these cards are giving me? These cards are giving me, I was voiceless. Now it's my time to speak. I was voiceless. This is one of the easiest decks I've ever used. That I ain't seen nothing like it. I ain't seen nothing like this. These are the easiest decks I've ever used in my life. I'm not exaggerating. Must be that South Carolina. Must be South Carolina coming into the mix. Because boy, like, bro, this is the easiest deck I've ever used. I'm not exaggerating. It might be my Jamaican roots too, but man, these cards are just leaping. Good grief. Pulled out this one, 6 of Sticks. I'm going to pull out the bottom as well. So, I picked up 13 cards. I'm supposed to do 13 cards. I need one. Oh, Lord God. All right. Tayanna, what did you do to these cards? How did you create these cards? They're just leaping out. They are leaping. Good grief. Leaping out of my hands, man. Like, let me talk. Let me talk now. Let me talk. Let me talk. Alright, so oh, this is gonna be good. Let's see what they have to say. I am ready. My soul is ready. Do you hear me? Listen. They got specific readings for this as well. They've got the see about your folks reading, ancestral reading, see about your folks, right? They got that reading. She's got that reading. Don't put that thing on me reading. The right doc spread. Gonna go and catch a bird reading. And yeah, we're gonna have a look at these card readings. I am excited. I can't even contain it. I'm excited as hell, man. Alright, so we've got Miss Robinson's Bristol's Funeral Home from Miss Robinson. Now let's see what Miss Robinson's saying, because that's the devil card. And I'm guessing the devil is not gonna have the same meaning here as it usually does. So, shorthand. When Miss Robinson appears in a reading, you may be involved in a negative situation that has the potential to become even more unpleasant, healthy, or dangerous. Stop it before things go too far. This card may also be trying to alert you to the fact that you have an addiction or obsession involving a person, idea, intoxicant, or object, which will ultimately hurt you more than you could ever imagine. Get help if you need it. If you're engaged in a lifestyle that attracts negative, unbalanced, or violent people, now is the time to be on high alert. This card may also be a reminder to stop bullying or being abusive to others. Stop being so manipulative. Beware of liars, backbiters, syndicators, and frenemies in your midst. There is also a warning against excessive focus on worldly things, bad news, pain, suffering, and ugliness. If you receive Miss Robinson in a reading, consider the following. Am I feeling trapped by whom or what? Not everyone who says they have good intentions mean it. Facts. Evil is a point of view. Big facts. What did I really invite into my life when I said did that? Don't let a mouth write your check your ass can't cash. An apology may be necessary. Maybe I have a problem. Am I ready, willing and able to do jail time if I get caught? Things may not be as good as they seem to be. He or she may be cheating on you. Am I purposely choosing to remain ignorant because I don't want to face the truth? Perhaps no one likes to talk to me because I'm often negative, depressing or expressing doubt. Why don't I believe in myself? Why do I expect the worst possible outcome? All right, with respect to Miss Tayanna, I think, yeah, I did tell you guys in the beginning, watch out for mistaking sensual joys or sensual pleasures for actual emotional connection. I did tell you that, but I feel that for those whom this reading resonates, I feel like it's not actually you. It's not actually you that's being negative. If anything, you appear to be the ones who are actually attempting to make your lives better, and you seem to be the ones who are actually able to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I gotta fix up. So you are behaving accordingly. It's other people that are fearful of you and are fearful of what you're trying to do with your life. It's other people who have a problem with you trying to progress and trying to get better because they're stuck in their fate. The feminine path is about mastering fate, not mastering well. And there are some of you for whom this resonates. Like for those whom this resonates, you are the ones who are at least attempting to master your fate. There are those who aren't, and the ones who aren't have a problem. They have a problem that needs fixing. But running their mouths about you is not going to help them. Do you understand? Them running their guns about you and what you're doing is not going to help them. When it comes to you, you've seen the error, you may have seen the error of your ways, and you may have seen the error in how you have been treating others or how you've been treating yourselves, and you're working to fix that. But there are people around you who are like, no, that's too hard. Let me be me and let me be a dick. You need to watch out for those people. Okay? Because they will try to bring you down. But hold on a second. What is going on here? What is Google doing? Google, fuck off. Good grief. Sorry. But yeah, negative people around you will try to bring you down because they haven't started their healing journey, and they may never get on their healing journey. So you have to watch out for that. And don't worry. Because of the path that you're on, like I said before, look at where you are different. Your uniqueness holds the key. Your true love holds the key to you actually finding happiness. And you actually finding safety. Remember. Okay? So that wasn't what I expected. It wasn't what I was expecting. Not as negative as I was expecting, but yeah, that's the situation right now. You are healing yourself, and you're surrounded by people who are determined not to take responsibility for anything that they don't. Okay? Now let me look at Tarot Ingi and look at notes. Look at the grand tableau for Tarot Ingi. You look at Tarot Ingi online. It's okay. She gives a lot of good information out for free. So shout out to her. Respect to her, because she she teaches people a good deal about the basics of tarot. So why have I only got Outlook on this thing? Where's Office? Yep. So, you know, she's really good. So check her out online, because her major arcana tableau is part of where I get my information from. So check her out. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so alright, these are my special cards. Alright, so where have we come from and where are we going to? Yeah. Oh shit. Okay, so you guys know that I'm a targeted individual and that I have gang stalkers, right? That's what we call them, gang stalkers. If you're not a gang stalker, somebody may be obsessing over you. Somebody may be obsessing over you, and where that leads to is either you or them getting a rude awakening. I feel it's most likely them, actually. I'm not going to lie to you. It's them that get the rude awakening, because they won't leave you alone. They get a rude awakening. I don't think they're going to learn from it, though. I think that whilst it might diminish their ability to stalk you and to harass you, I think diminishing is not the same thing as stopping. They're not going to stop. They're gonna be diminished, though. They're gonna be heavily hit, and for a while, I think you're gonna be on the up and up, and they're gonna be like shifting towards their brokenness rather than away from it. So yeah, I mean, I want to tell you, be careful, and you should be careful. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I mean, you know, Venus is telling you need to be prepared. Always be prepared. But I really feel that you're not gonna be the one who's going to have to lose out here. Because when people don't want to accept things, you've already accepted it. You've already accepted the truth. You accept the truth. You're not running from it. So it's them. They're in for the rude awakening, not you. But they're going to try to take that out on you because they don't get it yet. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's see. Challenge card. I did tell you, because I got from the notes immediately from Tarot Ingi, that it's about destructive behavior and greed. And yeah, that tracks for the challenge card. But let's see. Miss Robinson. Hold on. They have Bible. She has Bible verses. You know what? For the Bible verse from Mrs. Robinson, I got, now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. In Genesis 1, chapter 2. Alright, so now we've got the big house. And we've got a Bible verse from our challenge card. It says, but the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. Isaiah chapter 34 verse 11. Meaning, when the big house comes up in a reading, it may be trying to prepare you for a sudden change and the subsequent trauma that will come from it. There will be no opportunity to adjust. You will simply have to deal with things the best way you know how. If you are not a big embracer of change or you don't like surprises, life is about to suck big time, but it doesn't have to. The best thing to do when you get the news is to fight the urge to resist or deny whatever is occurring and try your best to look on the bright side. If there is no bright side or you're presently unable to see it, then seek support immediately. Reach out to friends, family and neighbours or call a hotline. Talk to someone. It's important that you have people around you now that can keep you focused and grounded as the winds of change uproot all that seems permanent. If you receive the big house in a reading, consider the following. Your plans may be disrupted in a way you can't imagine. Is this a breakdown or a breakthrough? Sometimes there's no difference, you know. In what way does this change hurt your ego? Things may actually turn out better in the end. That's likely with this card. What or who do you need to help you through this difficult time? There is a danger of going completely off the rails. Mind your temper. And just like that, it's over. Pick up the pieces and let it go. How could this experience inspire you to new heights? Why do you think that idea just came out of the blue? Perhaps it's not such a big surprise at all. You just weren't ready to see it. The truth hurts. Yeah, the truth hurts for the people who are bothering you, but for you, your problem is greed. It's not greed. It's destructive behavior. Destructive behavior might get in your way. Preparation is key for that. So if you prepare for your own don't prepare for how other people are going to treat you. Prepare for how you're going to emotionally respond to situations. You see, that's the mistake that we always make. The preparations that we make are always for external situations. They're never for our internal selves. If we know how we respond to situations, prepare for that. Don't prepare for anything external. Because the only thing that, the difference between a good situation and a bad situation 9 times out of 10 is the way that we emotionally respond to it. So if we prepare for how we emotionally respond to things, rather than simply trying to prepare for external situations, we're home clear. But once again, you are already halfway there. You're already halfway there. You just need to make practical. You need to make practical choices based on your emotional qualities. And you're home clear, man. I don't see a problem here. It says here that it starts off, but there will be peace after conflict. That peace might come at a cost. It might come at a cost to you. But it's not so big that you can't manage it. Don't worry about it. You got this. You just need to prepare for your emotional responses to things. But I see that there is a resolution. It might cost you a bit, but it's worth it. Okay. Alright, we got the grandbabies. Got the grandchildren. Early morning, Laban kissed his grandchildren and his daughters and blessed them. Then he left and returned home. Genesis chapter 31, verse 55. Meaning, when the grandchildren appears in a reading, it's a sign of that relief from any stress, negativity, or despair is on its way. If there is no sign of hope evident in your life yet, just be patient and you will see the proof that things are looking up. Blessings shall abound. I did say that for those whom this reading resonates, things are looking up for you big time. I did say that. If you receive the grandchildren in a reading, consider the following. Do I regularly count my blessings? Believing doesn't require proof. What can I do to regain hope? Find a way to become inspired. Give without seeking anything in return. What motivates you to get up in the morning and do it all over again? Miracles happen every day. Little miracles happen every day. Maybe today anything can change. Nothing stays the same. And maybe I did let go a couple of times. And maybe today. All right. What is a miracle? Love is a miracle. Every time that you care, a miracle happens somewhere. All right. So, miracles happen every day. Why can't they happen to you? Perhaps it's time for the old and the young to get together and enjoy each other's company. Damn right! Blessings are on the way. It might be time to share some of the words of wisdom with someone younger or less mature. All will turn out right in the end. Now, maybe I'm biased, but I'm really feeling this card. I did say that, you know, for those whom this reading resonates, there are many of you who are already doing the work, who are already pushing through, who are already basically trying your best. What I've got is that at the root of this, you guys are surviving. And where it leads to next, yeah. I did talk about being different when it comes to the Vishaka thing, but yeah, at the root, you're embracing your uniqueness, you're embracing who you are. It's not that you have hope, it's just that you've given up the idea of having hope. So ironically, because you gave up the idea of having hope, it's freed you. It's weird. It's one of those things where you never know, you know, truly how much you never needed something until you lose it. We get used to having certain things and think, I can't do without them. If I do without them, then I won't survive. And then you lose it. And then you're like, okay. Hope was one of those things. False hope too. You abandoned it. You just set it down. You just said no more. But because you abandoned false hope, real faith came into the equation. You didn't mean for that to happen, but it happened. And because of that, your confidence is elevated. Your whole soul is elevated. You are coming into your full self. And you weren't expecting that, but it's lovely. Yeah. You're surviving, and you're surviving extremely well. So at the root of this horrible situation going on here with people just relentlessly stalking and abusing you, like trying to get rise out of you, is you feeling more confident about who you are, and you feeling more at home with who you are. It's beautiful. It's a really beautiful thing, you know. And I talked about your uniqueness. I talked about being different. Do you remember when I said, you know, during this reading, talking about Vishaka in Ketu in the Navamsha? When I was talking about that, that's what I was talking about. You have to embrace your uniqueness. You have to understand what your uniqueness consists of in order to merge with somebody else's. So, yeah, you're coming into your own. You're doing what you need to be doing. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful. I feel there's so much more to say here. Like, what am I not getting? For some reason, I've got Ketu. This is a Mercury card as well as an Aquarius one, but I've got Ketu. You're channeling your Ketu. Your Ketu is key. it's not just the it's not just the overall key to that's important, it's your own key to too. All right, I'm gonna provide links in the video description on YouTube as to how you can calculate your key to if you need to, like, because your key to in your Rashi and your Navamsha are going to be key here. Now, the way that I read it is not the way that experienced Vedic astrologers read it. Be aware, okay? It's not usually the way that experienced Vedic astrologers read the Navamsha and read the Rashi, but read your key to in both those charts. That's going to be important. I don't know why it's going to be important, but it is going to be important. Yeah. That's where your hope is. That's where your hope is. Your hope is in your key to. And I'm getting your IC as well. Your fourth house, your IC. I'm getting your IC, and I'm getting your Imim Koeli, or whatever the hell it's called, and your Ketu. Those are the keys that you need to be looking at. That's what you need to be looking at in order to get a proper understanding of your uniqueness. I don't know why that came up, because that's not a Ketu card, but let's proceed. So before we look at Tarot Ingi, let's look at this Hoodoo Tarot. This they wanted to speak. They're speaking. So we've got Father Sims. Who gives the ibis wisdom or gives the rooster understanding? Job, chapter 38, verse 36. Meaning, when Father Sims comes up in a reading, it's asking you to review your position regarding your inquiry. If you've taken an extreme or one-sided position, now's the time to consider things from a more balanced perspective. Things do not have to be black and white, so don't force it to be. If you have been asked to compromise or cooperate, but you feel resistant to the idea, this card is a good sign that you haven't considered all the aspects of the situation. If you've been asked to give someone an answer, don't respond until you feel more centered. To do otherwise may cause deep regret and feelings to be hurt unnecessarily. Try to be fair. If you receive Father Sims in a reading, consider the following. What would be gained by compromising? Is it worth more than the perceived loss? Are you being fair? Sometimes less is more. Extremists never think they're extreme. Listen. I'll tell you, that's big facts. Peace is priceless. Focus on healing and recovery. An alliance is not such a bad idea. What am I bringing to the potluck dinner? Perhaps add something else to the mix. Other races, religions, and ethnic groups exist. Maybe it's time to learn more about other people. You see, even though I associate Jeshva and Mula with this card, even though I think I've said too much, even though I associate those nakshatras with this card, this is exactly what I was talking about with the Vishaka. And what I was, finding your own uniqueness, merging with somebody else who's unique in a completely different way to you. That's what's important. That's in your recent past though. So what else is being said here? So yeah, it says we've been getting our lives together. Like, for those who this reading resonates, you've been getting your life together. You've been doing exactly what you need to do for yourself. Again, you abandoned hope, so you found faith. It's weird, but that's how it worked. Yeah. And newfound well-being and expected healing was the result. So yeah, we definitely started embracing our own uniqueness fully, which led to us getting our, we got our lives together, which led to us embracing our full uniqueness and embracing the uniqueness of other people. And then it resulted in an unexpected internal healing of some sort. So we're already on that Ketu in Vishaka vibe, right? So we've already been on that vibe according to our recent past here, which is really good. It's excellent. So there's not that much to say about that card. It's pretty straightforward. It's like, we can only accept other people's uniqueness when we accept our own. When we're stuck on what we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be, and that's why we don't mind our business. I've always said this. We don't mind our business because we're stuck on how we're supposed to be all the time. We give ourselves, we hold ourselves to standards that are too rigid. So when it comes to other people, we don't mind our fucking business. But when we stop doing that, when we stop holding ridiculous standards to ourselves and to the way that we do things, when we stop holding ridiculous standards, that's when we find our voice. And when we find our voice, we don't mind when other people find theirs, and we're comfortable with the way that they express things. We've been doing that. So for the recent past, for those whom this card resonates, we, not you, we have been doing that. So that's that card explained. So like I said, combining the grandchildren and father sins, like between those cards, we've been doing the work. We've really been doing the work. We've been doing the work big time. So I love it. I love the fact that the cups cards are called baskets. I thought it would be coins, but coins are actually here. So the cups are basket. The baskets are cups. So we got the 10 of baskets here. Let's see what this says, shall we? Alright, let's see what this says. I'm not going to lie to you. No, let me leave it. Spirit will take care of it. Alright. Alright, so let's see for 10 of baskets what we've got here. So there's no Bible verses for the minor arcana here. Ten baskets. Meaning positive, happy families, spiritual contentment, consensus, harmonious relationships, blessings, shared values, friends who never let you down, reunions, stability, soulmates, camaraderie, unity, celebrations with loved ones, and ideal domestic situations. Negative, family disputes, losing your home, estranged spouses, family secrets, broken homes, toxic relatives, abusive parents, empty nest syndrome, unhappy childhoods, homesickness, instability, rebellious teens, and custody battles. This resonated with me strongly. The negative and the positive, they both resonated with me strongly. It's almost as if we're walking away from the negative meaning and walking into the positive one. But let's see. 10 of Cups. Yeah, for Tarot Ingi, I got fame and fortune, but also the need for perfection, a superficial relationship. Okay, yeah. So because we're coming out of a toxic situation, because we're only just healing from toxic situations in our lives, now we're ready to be happy. But we're still getting stuck on the image of what that looks like. We're not respecting what we actually need emotionally. We're not respecting it. Because what spirit tends to do is spirit can see what we emotionally resonate with, and spirit will give us that instead of what we think something looks like. So let's just say, for instance, I have a boyfriend right now, but when I was single, I was really into Chris Evans, because who fucking wasn't, okay? Okay, so let's just say you have a crush on Chris Evans or some shit. Sorry, there's a bit of noise disturbance outside. So let's just say you have a crush on Chris Evans, right? And you're imagining that your relationship is going to be full of affection, full of kisses all the time, that he's always going to call you, all that type of shit. But then you end up in real life with somebody who does all these things, but who doesn't look like Chris Evans. You see, that's where we fuck ourselves up, because we got so stuck on what we thought that love looked like Chris Evans, that we didn't think of the reality of what, of what that constant affection and what that constant love entailed. We didn't think of the reality of what that looked like. Sometimes it can be a good thing. Sometimes we can imagine, in case of my attraction to women, I expect one thing, and then what I ended up getting was like so much better than that and so much healthier. And yeah, that's another way in which, spirit, because spirit is not actually playing with your expectations. Spirit is actually meeting your expectations. Spirit is actually meeting reality. There are certain things that you need emotionally, and there are certain ways in, it's limited to what you do and what you feel. So what you experience is limited to what you do every day and what you feel every day. So spirit gives you that in accordance with what is actually going on, not what's in your head. So when it comes to happiness, when it comes to true love, this is why it's so important. True love, focus on how it feels. Don't focus on what it looks like, because if you focus on what it looks like, then you're going to miss it. Anuradha, Kitu and Anuradha, don't focus on how it looks. How does true love feel to you? That's what you need to focus on. It's not how it fucking looks. Because if you're always going to look at how something looks, then you're always just going to be lonely, and you're always going to be looking for something that doesn't exist. And you're going to be addicted to infatuations like I've been. You don't want to go down that road. It's good that you're coming out of your toxicity. It's a beautiful thing. But what you don't want to do is end up thinking that it has a certain look to it, that you having a happy family has a certain look, that you having a happy relationship has a certain look, that you finding true love is what the movies says it is. That's the one mistake you don't want to make. Be careful. Okay. I've got 5 more cards to read. This has been a long ass reading. But I tried to be thorough, Alright, so let's see. Right. So we've got Daughter of Knives, Page of Swords. I'm going to read that in a minute. Alright. Bear with me, sorry. court cards. All right, here they are. Okay. Them bones and bones and dry bones and bones and bones and dry bones. Okay. Daughter of Knives. Daughter of Knives represents swift delivery of messages and the accomplishments of goals. On the positive side, she is logical, quick-witted, action-orientated, well-informed, direct, philosophical, and always up for a challenge. On the negative side, she is sarcastic, condescending, rude, impatient, domineering, insensitive, acidic, and pedantic. In a reading, if she doesn't represent a literal person with these qualities, then she represents these attributes. Now, when I looked up Tarot Ingi, it said strong personality, so that's the near future. That's you. That's you. That's you. I'm sorry, but for whom this reading resonates, that's you. Good and bad. Yeah. So for me, once again, there's being too much in your head, right? If you calm down, you pay attention to your emotions, you pay attention to, don't watch your actions so much. Watch your emotions. You see, that's the mistake people make. People tell you to watch your thoughts or watch your actions. Sometimes when you watch your actions, you miss everything else. Sometimes we get so caught up in focusing on watching what we do and what we say, but we're not watching our feelings. And before you know it, we end up acting out of pocket anyway, because what we fear came to life. So instead of holding yourself back physically, and instead of saying, you know what, I got to watch what I say, I got to watch what I think, don't watch that. That is already divine. You need to let your thoughts and let your actions be what they are. What you really need to watch are your environment and your emotions. That's what you need to watch. Not what you do and what you think. Don't watch that. That's meant to be quick. That's meant to be fast. Watch the slow shit. Watch the slow shit. Because that's exactly what makes a difference between a logical, fiery, driven, funny, amazing spirit and a rude, domineering, bullish one. That makes all the difference between someone who's amazing and someone who's kind of a bitch. Okay? Watch the slow stuff. Watch your emotions. Watch your emotions and watch your environment and your body. Don't, watch your rest. Don't watch your activity. Your activity is meant to be fast. It's fast for a reason. Watch the slower stuff. That's slow for a reason, because it's to give you time to observe it. Okay, so alright, so we've got our power in this situation. So we've got 7 of Sticks, which is the 7 of Wands. You've got a crocodile head on it. I love this, you see, like, why does this resonate? I love this deck so much. Tayanna, you did the damn thing. Okay? Let's see. Okay. So, positive, standing your ground, strength in adversity, defending your beliefs, the final showdown, a fair competition, protest, resisting authority, protecting what's rightfully yours, and the ability to summon inner strength. Negative, being pushed around, exhaustion, being a doormat, struggling to survive, the odds being against you, fighting a losing battle, being scapegoated, being overwhelmed, quitting, getting bullied, stubbornness, narrow-mindedness, failing to admit when you're wrong, hidden enemies, and surrendering. Now, I did tell you that people will come after you, but you're standing strong. I did tell you that people will come after you because they're continuing to come after you. But what nobody tells you is that the more enemies you have, the more powerful you tend to be. Because the more enemies you have, the more potential people that there are to back you up when they eventually end up looking stupid for having doubted you. And it shouldn't work like that, but it does. It shouldn't work like that, but it does. It's always the ones who had something to say that are usually the ones trying to ally with you once the shit goes down. Well, if they're smart. Let me see. Alright, so wands. So what you're coming from, you've got opposition, but that opposition makes you strong. I know it sounds really cliche to say, and it sounds like I'm diminishing the effects that torture has on us, the effects that abuse has on us. That's not what I'm doing. What I am doing is pointing out how your understanding of your opposition basically empowers you. It empowers you and it allows you to make smarter decisions. And what I do see is you inevitably being successful in implementing your plans, because you've already been prepared. You know yourself emotionally, so physically you're able to do things that a lot of people aren't able to do, and a lot of people weren't prepared for. So I feel that your power in this case is just to stand your ground and just like let people know, look, you're not about to bully me. You're not about to do that with me. But stand your ground in a way that keeps you in control. That's why I say watch your emotions and watch your environment. Because their focus is going to be on you and not on themselves, which is why they're going to fall apart. But you're not going to fall apart. Because your attention is inward. So you're going to maintain steady, rooted in yourself. And the people around you that are trying to bring you down, they're going to be rooted in something else outside themselves. That's why they're never in control. That's why they never win, because they're always thinking defensively. They've got no imagination. They've got no, I know it's Italian job, right? They've got no imagination. They've got no ability to be innovative, and then no ability to be truthful either. And that's what their Achilles heel is. They need the resources and stuff behind them, because depending on who it is, it could be a boss at work, it could be a colleagues, it could be literally anybody, but they need to manipulate people into how in getting behind them so that they can do what they have to do. You only need you. But the stronger that you become is that the more you're going to find you have people on your side. Because the stronger you are, nobody tells you this, but the stronger you are is the more vulnerable you become. And spirit, so what spirit does, because spirit is perfect in their judgment. What spirit does is that when it sees that you're getting stronger, it will surround you with people and situations to protect you so that you're not left vulnerable. So it matches your strength by strengthening you further. Yeah? So stick to your guns, do what you gotta do, and in the words of Lonnie, Let no bitch upset you. Alright, so we've got the free man. That's the Fool card. Okay. And let's see what the free man says. Where did I put that booklet? Hold on. Let me put it. Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay, free man. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John chapter 8 verse 32. The free man is card 0 because 0 is not a natural number, since most people normally don't start counting with 0. Likewise, the free man doesn't count in situations that demand subservience to conventional wisdom or the status quo. It's come up again. And Uranus is associated with the free man. Let me continue. The free man is on a whole other level because he genuinely feels that common sense is for common people. He doesn't think he's better than anyone. He's just accepted that new grass doesn't always grow as lusciously on a beaten path. He's just accepted that new grass doesn't grow as lusciously on a beaten path. The free man is definitely foolish to most people who encounter him because he appears to be reckless and immature. But such assessments are only relevant when gain or loss is the focus. The free man doesn't exist in the space where those thoughts flourish. He is more interested in the attainment of wisdom by following his passions and what he knows to be true, wherever that may ultimately lead. The free man has what every great root worker has always had, the courage to follow their calling despite the possibly dire consequences, and an unshakable faith that made courage possible. If you receive the free man in a reading, consider the following. What is the best thing that could happen if things go your way? What is the worst that could happen if they don't? Can you live without ever knowing? Have you received an opportunity that you fantasized about but are afraid to take? Where are you headed? Are you really that deep? Are you really a free spirit? Or are you just a jerk or a rebel without a cause? Have you considered the financial or emotional cost of attaining that goal? Preparation is key. Doesn't matter whether you like surprises, they're on their way. Are you really as innocent as you profess to be? Has lingering self-doubt caused your boredom and dissatisfaction? The new guy-gal situation isn't who or what they appear to be. Maybe you need to loosen up? Let's go crazy, let's get nuts. Are you living in the present? Follow your bliss. So what do we see here with the free man? Okay. Alright, hold on. Yeah, I did tell you, controlling your emotions is going to be absolutely vital. But it's not you that you need to worry about. It's not you that you need to worry about, I think. It really isn't you. I'm sensing that it's not you at all. Oh, a new obsession. Yeah. New obsession. Where are coming from? Okay. This is interesting. So according to Tarot Ingi, there's a temptation in our way. New temptations. And with those new temptations come new obsessions. Be very, very careful. I don't feel like it's you that's going to have a disastrous outcome, because I feel that whatever it is that you have an obsession with, it's not going to be bad for you. I feel that whatever you are obsessed with is going to be actually quite healthy for you. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's almost as if your passion gains a new lease on life, and you know, you have the courage to pursue it now. It's weird. Other folk get obsessed over you, but you get obsessed over something that actually benefits you. It's good. It is very, very good, actually. I wasn't expecting that, because you know, when we see temptation and obsessions, we often think they're bad things. But the thing is, when we make the animal divine, that changes, doesn't it? And then it becomes healthy. Then it becomes something that is not going to pull us down, but it's going to lift us up. And I feel that whatever your new fixation is, it's going to uplift you rather than bring you down, rather than destroy you. There is the potential to let it destroy you. But then when you turn around, add laughter to it, add joy to it, add ethics to it, it becomes something different entirely. You're entering a healthier space in your life, and it's evident for everyone to see. It's evident to yourself most of all. Four of Coins. I already know what Tarot Ingi is going to say about that, but let me read the Hoodoo Tarot's notebook on this. So let me look at this. So I need the community cards for coins. Positive, financial security, material gain, sound investments, inheritance, careful budgeting, living within one's means, conservatism, and saving for a rainy day. Negative, greed. I did talk about that in the challenge as a fear. Hoarders, selfishness, wastefulness, obsessive couponing, clingy people, scarcity consciousness, penny pinchers, controlling personalities, and fear of change. When you talk about the negative, you kind of get this sort of dichotomy between those who overspend and those who are tight-fisted, but it revolves around the same thing. Fear of money, fear of losing money, is really fear of losing emotional comfort. Remember that emotions are the bloodline of economy. Economy is emotion. And when you forget that, and when you don't remember that, that's where greed comes in. And destructive behavior. Once again, if you want to avoid spending outside your means, if you want to avoid addictions, if you want to avoid all of those things, you must understand your emotions and your environment in order to understand your spending habits. Don't force yourself to be something you're not. Okay? Because that's not going to help you save money, and that's not going to help you become wealthy. It's like I said with regards to Venus. We're willing to give ourselves to love and give ourselves to abundance in order to find out what it needs. That's a great start, and that's a great attitude. But there's a trade-off. You've got to pay attention to your emotions and your environment. That determines your wealth. Not your looks, not where you come from, not your demographic, nothing like that. I know how that sounds, because the thing is, we are living in a white imperialistic patriarchal society. So I'm not pretending that somebody in my position doesn't have cards against me. I've had a lot against me in my life. I've had a lot against me, like systemically, but the key to overcoming all of that in order to find wealth that is right for you, it's about acknowledging your emotion in your environment and how you can bring wealth to those things, and how you can give yourself to love and give yourself to abundance in order to get it, in order to get what you need from it. You don't have to be white to do that. You don't have to be black to do that. You don't have to be male, female to do that. Anybody can do that. You can find what you were meant for in this life. You don't have to be, a certain demographic in order to have a rich life that you're supposed to lead. You don't need it. That's the lie that you're told. You don't need that. You do need to you do need to be a certain type of person in order to have power, but love is different. True abundance is different. True wealth is different. Very different. So if you want true wealth in your life and true abundance in your life and true happiness and love in your life, come back to your emotions and your environment and make that better, and show that you love it and show that you're grateful for it. That's all you need to be doing. Okay? Now we've got the 7 of baskets for the outcome. And after that, I'm going to read the 3 cards. For some reason, I'm getting Mother, Maiden, Crown. Yeah, I read it that way for a reason. And if you don't know why, I can't help you. But let's look at the outcome first. 7 of baskets. I think I already know what that's going to mean. From Tarot Ingi, that's poor time management and obsession with perfection again when it comes to love. But let's see what... I've always found the 7 of Cups a tricky card to read, because it doesn't feel very specific. You see, I'm a Leo. I need things linear, you see. I need to have a linear understanding of things before I can understand things outside the box. Alright, so... positive, visionaries, realists, restored clarity, vision quest. Oh, this is my shit, Tayanna! This is my shit. Thank God somebody actually offered something clear. Visionaries, realists, restored clarity, vision quests, having multiple options, people with vivid imaginations and meditation, negative, confusion, lack of focus, living in a dream world. You see, the 7 of baskets is usually associated with negative stuff. So with the poor time management, all of this that I'm reading right now, it goes into poor time management. So in practicality, muddled thinking, unrealistic expectations, escapism, dissipated energy, romanticism, hallucinations, having too many choices, castles made of sand, self-deception, avoiding the issue, inappropriate fantasies, procrastinators, altered senses of perception, and drugs placed in food and drinks without your knowledge. Rotted hole. Okay. That's scary. But I don't. Luckily for you, I don't see anything really that dramatic. I just see you need to get out of your own head. Again, thoughts. Stop being obsessed with your thoughts. You need to come into contact with your emotions. You see, you can only become a realist and a visionary when you're in touch with your emotions in your environment. I keep saying it. But the outcome is, it's not bad, but it's like the outcome of all this wonderful progress. New envisionings in your head. that are more realistic and true to life, but you're still living too much in your head. You need to climb out of your head. Climb out of your head. Because this is not good. You're not supposed to be doing this. Like, after all this progress, you're not supposed to be doing this. You have something inside you that you need to utilize to your advantage. Utilize it. Don't wait. It's fine. If you need to take it slow, but don't wait. Don't wait. You have all the tools that you need. You have all the talent. You have all the abilities. You have all the skills. You have all the ideas. Act on them already. Stop waiting. Okay? Stop waiting on the ideas to happen and actually act on them. If you need to be prepared, be prepared. But don't use it as an excuse for inaction. So what else is that saying? No, that's it. Yeah. It's a shame, because after all that, like, big razzle dazzle, like, it ended up being, yeah, you're just in your head. Get out of your head, man. Come on. Come on. And now? Alright. Let's read what the three goddesses are saying. So first we're going to start with the mother. The mother is always prepared for the far future. And this is what she sees. She sees victory. But let's see what the notes say. Okay. The mother sees you teaching people the wisdom of your experience. And maybe lecturing people a little bit. But it's all good. It's all out of love. Okay, so 6 of sticks. 6 sticks. So meaning positive, victory, getting promoted, overcoming hardship, receiving compliments, great news, recognition, having high self-esteem, becoming a VIP, feeling encouraged, being sought out for your expertise and being a recognized hero. Negative, flatterers, frenemies, being pompous, condescending comments, a fall from grace, loss of respect, excessive pride, groupies, needing constant validation from others, humiliating defeat, people who are desperate for attention, and epic fails. I really feel that you are feeling yourself right now. The mother sees that you are coming into your own, and in the future, the mother sees that in the far distant future, you are going to come into your own. And because you're coming into your own, you're going to be feeling yourself a little bit. Be careful that you don't talk down to people. Okay? I know, because I do it sometimes. I reach a realization in my life and then I start talking down to folks and start lecturing them and stuff. Because it feels so good when you come up for air, you know? And then you want to turn around to other people and say, hey, share this air with me. It's great. But give them time. You don't need to be like militant about it. You can just let people do their thing while you do yours and you become an example. You're doing fantastically. The mother is proud of you. Mother Chitra, Mother Hasta are proud of you right now, because all your attention to detail, all your attention to what's around you, your desire to have your needs met, it leads you into a really good place. So the mother is very proud of you. Expect really good things in the far future. That's all I'm saying. Okay? And it's funny that the Tower showed up again for the challenge card and this showed up for the mother card. Those cards showed up in the new moon reading for Ashleisha too. It's funny how it shows up here. But yes, you're doing big things. You know, big wins are coming for you. Be prepared, but don't let it get to your head. Yeah. And now we're going to read the Maiden. I love doing what I'm doing. I love it. I'm happy. I'm so happy. She's happy. She's very, very happy right now. Eight of Sticks. Positive. Rapid progress, forward movement, communication, finding a resolution, excitement, wildering romances, gaining momentum, receiving a critical message, eye-opening experiences, being in alignment, end of delays, travel by air, and successful journeys. Negative. A serious emergency, wasted energy, being too pushy, reckless behavior, transportation faltering, leaping before looking, unexpected breakups, extreme frustration, high pressure situations, hasty decisions, ideas that are way out there, hysteria, and failure to recognize signs and warnings. The Maiden says that you've gone from being completely falling apart to thriving. It's kind of a whiplash sort of situation. But that didn't happen as quickly as you might think. There were things building up that led to this transformation in many of you. It wasn't a quick thing. It wasn't as quick as it looks. It looks quick because all those emotions built up in us to the point where, like, there was a certain point where we decided, you know what, I'm going to throw off these shackles. I'm going to express myself. But this was a long time coming. Maiden is in frenetic mode. She's doing what she loves. She's enjoying herself. Do you know what I mean? And progress has been made swift and quick. The good times have come very thick and fast. And she is struggling to keep up with it all, but she couldn't be happier at the moment. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. She couldn't be happier. The Maiden is happy. Maiden, Maga, and Ardra. Happy rebel. Happy rebel. Because it's not a rebellion built on bitterness. It's a rebellion built on love and trust and respect. It's beautiful. And I love it. Okay? So let's see what the crone is saying. Crone Venus. Alright? You're coming into your power. You're coming into your power. It's lovely. But let's read the crone. Okay, so the crone says that you're expanding your horizons, and you're expanding your horizons gives you a new lease on life. And you no longer resent certain things anymore. There are things that you used to resent that you don't anymore. There are petty things that you used to find issue with that you don't find issue with anymore. And that's enabling you to actually live your life regardless. That's enabling you to actually live your life regardless. Okay? So, yeah, you're expanding your horizons. You're taking a more philosophical attitude to life, and you're basically embracing life as it comes. And you may meet someone along the way of that same mindset, and you might say to yourself, you know, you might be a bit hesitant at first because, once again, it's that visualization trap, right? You get caught up in what things look like rather than what they feel like. But trust your feelings. There's somebody else who is on your wavelength. They know where you're coming from, and they know what's going on with you, and they want to They want to be a part of your life. Let them. True love is not what we think it looks like. So yeah, the goddesses have spoken. And right on time, that clicked off. So, this deck was exquisite. This deck is absolutely amazing. I loved using this deck. It is absolutely beautiful. It's been a fabulous Friday the 13th. It has been so fabulous. I'd like to thank Tayanna Lee McQuillar for this reading, because it's her deck, the Hoodoo Tarot, that I used today. These cards leapt. Like I said, they leapt out. Beautiful. Beautiful cards. Glad I bought them. Best decision I've made so far with regards to, you know, buying tarot cards. And I bought the In-Between Tarot. And that deck ain't nothing to be sniffed at either. That deck is dope too. Alright. So yeah. Love this deck to bits. Thank you so much for joining me for this special reading and this unboxing. And I will see you for the daily reading for tomorrow, which is going to be in a few hours. So, until then, bye-bye. Hold up.